welcome to AOK Live. I'm Jake.
And I'm Lily. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We help them find it and the latest weather around the country. But first, the story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house, and before you think they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house, there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom, though it's not known if anyone has tried to have a bath in it or go to the toilet. Normally a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months because workers kept getting confused by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter Emma, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Emma?
Thanks, Jake. I'm here with the owner of the house, Riley, and I'm feeling a little concerned but very excited. So, what made you to decide to build this upside-down house?
Well, not all houses are built upside down, but this one is.
What comments do you feel the house makes about the state of the world?
Well, don't have to build your house upside down. You can build it side to side. Normal.
What are some of the challenges of living in a house where everything's upside down?
Going through the hallway and going toilet, that's a hard thing.
So, do you think you'll always live in your upside-down house?
Yes, it's really puzzling and really fun, actually.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Emma for AOK Live. Back to you, Lily and Jake in the studio.
Thanks, Emma. Even watching that makes me feel like vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look at Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that makes objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they can be hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says, possibilities are endless, and we are very excited. However, since inventing this invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears. The inventor of the cloak said it appears that they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak. Here is our on-the-spot reporter Cole with more on this story.
Hello, I'm Cole, and with me is Jess and Josh, two of the scientists behind the invisibility cloak. Hi, Jess and Josh, and thanks for joining us today. What makes you want to invent the invisibility cloak?
Well, when we found it, we decided to keep it for ourselves, because when it comes to tidying, our flatmates are very annoying.
Can you show me how the invisibility cloak works?
Yeah, sure.
Why, you scared me then. What do you hope the cloak will be used for?
Well, we want to sell it so then we can buy all lots of different things and also go to college.
How did you make the invisibility cloak?
Well, me and my sister were studying for the chemistry test the next day, and then she spilled it on the floor.
No, I didn't. I only spilled it on an old cloak.
Yeah, my most favourite one.
Well, that makes things very clear. Thanks for joining us. Back to you in the studio, Jake.
Thanks, Cole. And now, how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-waving criminals are covering tree branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of woolen graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing, police say, and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. They're a close-knit group of dyed-in-the-wool criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to the crimes. A police spokesman said today so far the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and the police. We go now to a secret location with our investigative reporter Heather, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks, Jake. I'm Heather, and joining me in this top secret location is a member of the Midnight Knitters gang. Hello, Cameron. Thanks for joining us. What led you to the dark underworld of knitting?
Well, I started at my grandma's when she taught me how to knit, and then I went to school. They started teasing me for knitting, and then I taught it to extreme heights.
Do you see yourself as a criminal? Why or why not?
Well, I don't really know. They might think I am, so I guess I am.
Apart from trees, lampposts and graffiti lights, what else would you like to graffiti knit?
Well, I'd quite like to graffiti knit a tank and a house.
What next do you think you're going to knit graffiti?
Well, if I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
Thanks for your time, Cameron of the Midnight Knitters gang. We now go over to Alana with the weather update.
Thank you, Heather, and good evening, New Zealand. Let's take a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north, in Kaitaia, they look at some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions and you'll just have to accept them. There'll be no weather for the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday and expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, the weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We have really no idea what will happen. There in the Taranaki, and the mild depression brings with it a very dull day with no highlights at all. It'll be overcast and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening. So don't worry, everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There'll be no wind at all and day conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaikoura will expect to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim and reading the newspaper. But try to stay indoors as the weather will be just terrible. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonably rainfall, some sensible wind will moderate thunderstorms and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty cold and unfriendly until late morning, when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all for me. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now it's back to the news desk with Jake and Lily.
Thanks, Alana. Well, that's all we have time for. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's broadcast.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Until then, I'm Lily.
I'm Jake.
For AOK Live. Goodbye. E nohora.